Horncastle is a market town in Lincolnshire, England, 17 miles east of the county town of Lincoln. Horncastle had a population of 6,815 at the 2011 census. History: Romans. Although fortified, Horncastle was not on any important Roman roads, which suggests that the River Bain was the principal route of access. Roman Horncastle has become known as Banavalum. This name has been adopted by several local businesses and by the town's secondary modern school, but the Roman name for the settlement is not definitely known. Banavalum was suggested in the 19th century through an interpretation of the Ravenna cosmography, a 7th century list of Roman towns and road stations. Banavalum may have been Caister. The Roman walls remain in places. One section is on display in the town's library, which was built over the top of the wall. The Saxons called the town Horncastle, from whence its modern name was derived. Domesday Book. Horncastle is listed in the 1086 Domesday Book as consisting of 41 households, including 29 villages and 12 smallholders, and had 100 acres of meadow and 2 mills, all belonging to King William. Church dating from the 13th century prior to the Reformation. The Anglican parish church is dedicated to St. Mary. In the early English style, it is a Grade II * listed building. It was extensively restored between 1859 and 1861 by Ewan Christian. English Civil War. 4 miles from Horncastle is the village of Winsby. During the 1643 Battle of Winsby, which helped to secure Lincolnshire for Parliament, leader Oliver Cromwell was almost killed. Local legend has it that the 13 scythe blades, which hang on the wall of the South Chapel of St. Mary's Church, were used as weapons at Winsby. This story is generally regarded as apocryphal. The accepted historical opinion is that they probably date from the Lincolnshire Rising of 1536. Both theories about the origin of the scythes are discussed at Church History. Lincoln website. Market and Horse Fair. Horncastle was granted its market charter by the Crown in the 13th century. It was long known for its Great August Horse Fair, an internationally famous annual trading event which continued to be held until the mid-20th century. It ended after the Second World War, when horses were generally no longer used for agriculture. The town is now known as a centre for the antiques trade. The Great Annual Horse Fair was probably first held in the 13th century. The fair used to last for a week or more every August. In the 19th century it was likely the largest event of its kind in the United Kingdom. The slogan, "Horncastle for Horses," was an indication of the town's standing in this trade. George Borrow set some scenes of his semi-autobiographical books, Lavengro and the Roman Era, at the annual horse fair. The last horse fair was held in 1948. In 1894 the Stanhope Memorial, designed by E. Ling and Barker, was erected in the centre of the marketplace in memory of Edward Stanhope. Built of limestone, red sandstone and pink and grey streaked marble, it is a Grade II listed structure. Notable buildings. The Grade II listed Old Courthouse, built in 1865, is in the town centre on Louth Road. Population. Since the late 20th century, the population has increased to 6,815 in 2011, its highest ever. Historically, the civil parish suffered a decline in population from the mid-19th to mid-20th century, as urbanization and changes in agriculture attracted people to cities where more work was available. Twin town. Horncastle is twinned with Bonnetable, a ville de Marche in the French département of Sarthe, with a population of 4,000. The town's relationship is commemorated by a rue Horncastle in Bonnetable, and a Bonnetable road in Horncastle. Geography. It lies to the south of the Lincolnshire Wolds, where the River Bain meets the River Waring, and north of the Western Wildmoor Fens. The south of Horncastle is called Cagthorpe. Langton Hill is to the west. It used to be part of Horncastle Rural District in the parts of Lindsey, but is now in the District Council of East Lindsey, based in Manby, east of Louth. North of the town, the civil parish meets West Ashby and Low Toynton, south of Milestone House on the A153. The boundary skirts the east of the town, crossing Low Toynton Road, following the Viking Way, then meeting the River Waring. It briefly follows north of the A158, to a caravan park, where it meets High Toynton. Southwards on Mereham Road it meets Mereham on the Hill, east of Stonehill Farm. South of the town, and north of Telegraph House, it meets Scrivelsby, following High Lane westwards to cross the B1183, south of Loxley Farm. Then the A153 and skirts the southern edge of the sewage works next to the River Bain, where it meets Ruton. It follows the old River Bain west of the A153 northwards across the River Meadows, crossing the Horncastle Canal. Eastwards it crosses the B1191, south of Langton Hill, where at Low Moor Lane it meets Langton. It follows Langton Lane northwards, with Millhouse Farm to the west, meeting Thimbleby. It meets the B1190 where the pylons cross the road, then the A158 at the B1190 junction. Briefly following Accommodation Road to the east, it skirts the north of the town, briefly following Elmhurst Road, passing south of Elmley Farm, and straight through Elmhurst Lakes. At the River Bain near Hemmingby Lane, it meets West Ashby. Economy. Lincolnshire Integrated Voluntary Emergency Service is based at the Boston Road Industrial Estate. The Lincolnshire Wildlife Trust is based in Banavalam House. Mortlands of Horncastle is a major national magazine publisher of classic motorcycles, aviation and road transport heritage titles. It is situated at the south of the town on the industrial estate off the A153. Governance. An electoral ward of the same name exists. This ward includes Thimbleby and has a total population taken at the 2011 census of 7,073. Politics. Horncastle has always been a very safe area for the Conservative Party. The only exception to this has been for 2 years in the early 1920s when it had Liberal Party representation. It had its own eponymous parliamentary constituency for 98 years from 1885 to 1983. Following this it was in Gainsborough and Horncastle, and since 1997, Louth and Horncastle. Henry Haslam served as the MP during the Second World War and the 5 years of the Churchill wartime government. The veteran politician Sir Peter Tapsell was MP for the town from 1966 to 1983 and from 1997 to 2015. He was Father of the House of Commons from 2010 to 2015. Following a redistribution of parliamentary constituencies, Edward Lee was the MP from 1983 to 1997. Education. Primary schools. Horncastle Primary School is situated at Bowl Alley Lane. Secondary schools. Queen Elizabeth's Grammar School was founded in 1571, and is among the top schools in Lincolnshire. It has at times been one of the top in the country. The school's tennis, hockey, netball and cricket teams compete regionally. The tennis team a region winner in the 2005 British Schools Tennis Championships. Queen Elizabeth's is a specialist science college and language college. Its design and technology department recently entered 2 teams in the National 4x4 for Schools engineering competition, one of which came first nationally in their age group, while the other team came second nationally overall. The Banavalam School is a non-selective community school serving Horncastle and the surrounding villages. It is a science specialist school on a joint basis with Queen Elizabeth's Grammar School. The most recent Ofsted inspection was in 2010 and judged the school to be overall Grade 2. The school recently added a building with facilities for cookery, woodwork, metalwork, art and music. The St. Lawrence School is a special needs school with a Lincolnshire-wide intake and, with St. Bernard's School, LA, comprises the Lincolnshire World's Federation. Colleges: Horncastle College is a lifelong learning adult education college, which runs short and residential courses in IT, art, languages and local history. Transport. Roads. Horncastle sits at the crossroads of two of Lincolnshire's major roads. The A158 runs west-east, joining the county town of Lincoln with the resort of Skegness on the Lincolnshire coast. The A153 joins Louth in the north with Sleaford and Grantham in the south. These two roads meet at the Owl Ring in the centre of Horncastle. The A158 through Horncastle becomes busy during the summer holidays, as holidaymakers travel between Horncastle and Skegness. To alleviate pressure on the town centre caused by this traffic, a relief road, Jubilee Way, was constructed in the 1970s. Minor roads run from Horncastle to Bardney, Boston, Fullerby and Woodhall Spa. Horncastle is home to a hub for the Interconnect rural bus service. Regular buses run to Lincoln, Skegness and across the Wolds. The Viking Way long-distance footpath also runs through Horncastle. Railway. The Great Northern Railway's Lincoln-Boston line ran through Kirkstead, 8 miles from Horncastle, and a branch line from Kirkstead through Woodhall Spa to Horncastle opened on the 11th of August 1855. The last passenger service ran in 1954, with complete closure to goods traffic in 1971. Horncastle railway station was demolished in the 1980s and the site is now a housing estate. Today the nearest railway station is Metheringham on the Peterborough to Lincoln line. The Horncastle branch was a line that ran from Woodhall Junction to Horncastle, and is now the Viking Way. Waterways. Horncastle Canal, based upon the River Bain, was constructed from 1792 and opened in 1802. In 2004 it was suggested that the Horncastle Canal be renovated with the help of private capital, and promoted as a route for pleasure craft, as has successfully been achieved in other areas. A local Kickstart program raised for the project. Sport. Football. Horncastle Town FC play in the Lincolnshire Football League. The ground is on the Wong. The team is sponsored by a local skip hire company. The club have a Saturday reserve side, sponsored by a plastering company, and a Sunday side, sponsored by a public house. The club has a junior section with teams ranging from under-10s to under-18s, sponsored by a joinery firm. The club restructured before the 2008-09 season through the resignation of its manager and the loss of out-of-town players he brought to the club. Subsequently the club decided to be more locally focused. Horncastle Town has achieved FA Charter standard status. Cricket. The town has a cricket club, which has 2 men's teams, and 5 youth squads. Both teams are sponsored by a pallet services group of companies. Hockey. The town's hockey club currently made up of 2 men's teams and a ladies' team. The men's first she won the NE14HOCKEY East Men's League Division 5 NW title in 2008. Following promotion in the 2009-10 season with a record of play 22-1-22, Horncastle men's first team now play in Division 3 of the East Region. Horncastle men's second team play in Division 6 NW of the East Region after finishing as runners-up in the 2009-10 season. The Horncastle ladies have won Division 1 of the Lincolnshire Women's Hockey League for 2010-11. Floods. The town is susceptible to flooding, notably in 1920 and 1960, and with 3 floods occurring between 1981 and 1984. Folklore belief associates the occurrence of floods with the installation of new vicars in Horncastle's Anglican Church. The vicar changed in 1919 and 1959, both less than a year before a flood. The flooding of the early 1980s was attributed to the change of vicar in 1980, however, there was no flooding in Horncastle following the change of vicar in 1999. Both the River Bain and River Waring overflowed the banks during the 2007 United Kingdom floods. Flooding also occurred in 2012. A £15 million, 30-year-old proposed flood defence scheme was seen as unlikely to have prevented the 2012 flood, but new means of flood defences are being discussed. An anti-flood pump was installed in 2013. On the 7th of October 1960, Horncastle entered the UK weather records with a highest 180 min total rainfall of 178 mm. As of March 2013, it still holds the record. The water levels are said to have risen 8 feet as a consequence. Real-time river levels are available from the Environment Agency. River Bain at Horncastle Victoria Mill, River Waring at Horncastle's Banks Road, and flood warnings for the town. Watermill Road, Bridge Street, St Lawrence Street, Prospect Street and West Street areas. Stanhope Road, Banks Road, East Street, North Street, Wharf Road and Waring Street areas. Notable people: Sir Joseph Banks, botanist to Captain James Cook. Peter Biff Byford, lead singer of heavy metal band Saxon. Sir Lionel Dimmock. Robert Merrick Fowler, Royal Navy officer who served with Matthew Flinders and at the Battle of Pulawarra. Tim Garbutt, DJ, producer and one half of dance music act Utah Saints. Henry Simpson Lunn, religious leader and co-founder of Lunn Poly Travel Agents. William Marwood, public hangman. Ben Pridmore, memory champion, attended school in Horncastle. Samuel Roberts, mathematician and Fellow of the Royal Society. Thomas Sully, portrait painter. Emily Tennyson, Lady Tennyson. Alfred, Lord Tennyson, the poet laureate, was born 6 miles from Horncastle in the world's village of Somersby. Tennyson described the town by writing, "Of all horrors, a little country town seems to me to be the greatest." Robert Webb, actor and comedian, lived in Woodhall Spa, but attended school in Horncastle. Harold A. Wilson, 1908 Olympic athlete, first person to run a sub-4-minute 1,500 meters.